Good morning, one and all. So, as we have coming to the end of the recursion topic, we are now going to see what is the difference between recursion and iteration. So, as we have seen almost three recursive programs, that is factorial, Fibonacci, and binomial coefficients, where we have seen few programs which works both in recursive approach as well as iterative approach through. So that makes me to give you an impact or in fact about what exactly uh, a recursion and what exactly an iteration is and how do they differ. Okay, so let us just see one by one. So as the first difference is nothing but the definition itself. So when it comes to a recursive function, what is a recursive function is nothing but calling a function within the same function is called as recursion. So that is what is the definition of recursion. And you know what, why, when do we go for iteration? When we want to repeat some set of statements until some specific condition is met, those concepts, the repetition of an statement until a condition is met, such statement, such concepts are called as iteration. So that is what a straightforward difference is. That is a definition. And next, as you know that recursion consists of two cases. One is a base case, which is your direct answer, and one is a general case, okay, a general condition where you need to divide them into a sub problem or a smaller instance. So it has got two cases. One is base case and general case. So basically based on these two cases recursion works. Whereas in iteration, it's nothing but a loop. If you consider, they have following things. That means they will tell initialization, that means from which iteration that loop has to begin and what is till where it has to go. The loop, you can't keep on repeating the step. You have to end up that repetition at one point of time, like how when a base case has been met, the recursion stops. So when the final condition or termination condition has been encountered, we have to stop the iteration, and finally we need to update. The loop has to be incremented or decremented according to the condition. So that means recursion consists of two cases, base case and general case, whereas iteration consists of initialization, termination, condition, and updation. So it consists of three components. Okay, so that is what is second difference. Third difference says that, so you know what is exactly in recursion happening. A function calls itself in the same function. Okay, a function calling itself in the same function within the same function is called as recursion. So when a recursion calls the same function, what happens is it maintains another copy of the function in your internal structure. Okay, that means if you call the recursive function 10 times, the same function is copied 10 times. So you can clearly understand by this sentence, if 10 times the same copy is being kept, that means we are duplicating. The same copy is getting the same function is getting copied again and again. If you make 100 recursive calls, 100 times the function has been copied. Since function also occupies some spaces, you can imagine if it has been copied 100 times, 100 copy of a same function, that means recursion takes more spaces. Okay, whereas iteration does not utilize the more spaces. Okay, it just works only for that iteration, that's all. It does not so we are not copying, we're repeating the statement, so it doesn't utilize much spaces. That is the next difference. And so since you know that a recursive call keep on calling the same function, it is not that efficient and very slow in execution compared to iteration. That means iteration is efficient and faster in execution. So that is the next difference. Okay, and finally keep one thing in your mind. All the recursive program whatever we have done, whether it is binomial coefficient or factorial of a number or a Fibonacci series, all recursive algorithm can be converted into iterative approach. That means every recursive program can be written in a using loops, but the reverse or the vice versa is different. Okay, you cannot do vice versa. That means all the programs which you can solve using iterative algorithm cannot be solved using recursive approach. Okay, keep one thing in your mind: Fibonacci, factorial, and binomial coefficient, since it can be solved by recursion, so it can also be solved by iteration. So recursive algorithms can also be converted into iterative algorithm, but reverse is not possible. That is, iterative algorithms cannot be converted into recursive approach. And finally, as we have seen in the previous concepts, whenever we saw recursion, we came across one data structure called as stack, because they temporarily store the function calls. Okay, so stack is a data structure which is used by recursion, but whereas in iteration it does not uses any data structure, it doesn't uses stack. So this is the few difference between recursion and iteration. So I hope so with this comparison you understand what is recursion and what is iteration in a better way. Thank you.